Oh my.
Hi, everyone. It's Kelly from The Hub,
Oh,
here today with Pastor Jim from Bergstrasse. Hi, friend. How are you?
good.
Good.
Good. I mean, I think spring is finally here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
It's supposed to be nice this week, too. Yeah.
and next week.
For
And
real?
next week.
Okay. I don't think you can like say that about the weather, man. It changes on a dime.
Well, just because I'm planning for outdoor worship stuff on Easter weekend, I needed to look ahead. And AccuWeather is giving me decent weather for 2 weeks. So it's like, that's all I need to know.
Okay.
All I
Just
need to
because it's called AccuWeather doesn't mean it is AccuWeather.
Well, okay, so it didn't say it was going to be 70, but it was going to be above freezing.
All right. Okay. I'm a child from Cleveland, and there have been many years that I was so excited with my Easter dress, and I had to wear my winter coat and been disappointed with the snow and such.
Hey, I grew up in South Central Pennsylvania, and I remember going to an Easter sunrise service, and it was cloudy, and an
Yeah.
hour later, 4 inches of snow, and we were pushing people out of the snow to get them home, to get them out. I mean, it was blizzard conditions. It was raw snow everywhere. You know how it blows around and gets in your face. And yeah, I know. You can't trust the weather. You cannot
That's
trust the
right.
weather.
That's right. That's right. You can't.
Changes on a dime.
That's right. Pastor Jim and I were chatting this morning. So I signed up for a virtual race because, it's still a pandemic and, we're doing those kinds of
A,
things.
a virtual race.
Yeah, it's a virtual race. So pardon me, you run, whatever, you like run. I'm going to use that term loosely because I don't really run. You are active at your own pace, and you participate, and you like take a selfie with you being active, and the money goes to a really good cause, and I'm really excited about it. And so that precipitated talking about like things you've done outdoors that were adventurous, and then that turned into things you've done outdoors that didn't turn out so well.
You may never do again, or not very soon.
So
But I have to tell you, I'm intrigued by a virtual race. Does that mean I could run in place at home? So I could take a selfie of me on my elliptical and makes it look like I'm running?
I would think that would totally qualify. You're being active and doing it. So I think that my husband and I are gonna walk on the rail trail. I think that we're gonna go on the rail trail and do it. I think because
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, I don't get to go on the rail trail as much as I would like. And so I think we're going to go on the rail trail like a couple of because the race isn't like one day race. The event
Oh,
isn't one day. It's like over like 2 or 3 weeks. So I think we're going to go on the rail trail like 2 or 3 different times. And I think we're going to do it, go to like different parts of the rail trail and then do it that time. That's what I think we're
that would be my that would be my kind of race. Because when you hear 5K, half marathon, full marathon, they're running that in a day in person. These virtual ones, it's like I can sit and take a nap every once in a while, have a cup of coffee.
Well, I'll just walk it. I will walk it at the pace that works for me.
But it's a twofold thing, as you said. It gets us out of the house. Bless you.
Sorry, I tried
Bless
to
you.
get the mute button. It just didn't happen fast enough. Sorry.
It gets us exercise. It gets us off the couch,
Yeah.
and the monies go to a good cause.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we thought it would be funny to talk about like some outdoor adventures slash mishaps that have happened in our life because,
Life happens.
because life happens. And And, sharing some of those things can be awfully hilarious. So we were talking about, okay, I'll just share one that's relatively embarrassing for me, but I can talk about it now because it's really funny. So I am very afraid of sharks. Um, it happened because um, my in 1976, I think, when Jaws came out, um,
Mhm.
my my mom had a couple of bad parenting choices. This was one of them. Um, we went to see Jaws. I was a small child, and we went to see Jaws during the summer. And apparently, it was a very full theater. And I sat on my uncle's lap in the front row of Jaws
Front row.
as a
Front row.
front row as a small child. And okay, it's Jaws, and I'm not quite sure that any of the adults that I was with knew quite what the film was about. So,
Uh-oh.
and they brought me, the small child. So, I do have a bit of an irrational fear of sharks. I do believe that sharks pretty much are everywhere in a body of water. I think they're in pools. Okay, and so it's an irrational fear. And so anybody who's going to comment, Kelly, they're not in pools. Okay, I understand. Okay, you have to understand, it's an irrational fear, right? I get that. So, I was in the Atlantic Ocean. Okay. It's the ocean, and it's the Atlantic Ocean where the sharks really are. And I was in Maine. Okay. So that's where I was. And I was in a rowboat with a woman, with a woman that I know. And we were in a rowboat, and we were in a rowboat, and la la la. And we were gonna like shift who was rowing. Like I was rowing, and then she was gonna row. And so we had to like shift positions, right? And so in that never goes well, because you don't do that well. So while we were shifting the position of the rower, we tipped the rowboat.
In the middle of the Atlantic?
Okay. So I say that, but we were in the Atlantic Ocean. We It was salt water. We
Okay.
were close to the shore. It doesn't
Could you see
matter.
land?
You
Could
understand
you
that
see land?
it's an irrational fear. Okay. So we ended up in the Atlantic Ocean. See, everybody in the world goes, "You were in the middle of the ocean."
I
No,
know, right?
was not. But it's an irrational fear. So I and so where do sharks get you? Your feet,
Feet.
because
You're
that's
like,
right. That's where that if you watch the movie, that's where they go. So I arched my back so far that my feet were out of the water. So my head is out of the water, and my feet were out of the water. And that, yep. Because I didn't want the sharks to get me. Eventually, I don't know, somebody came, we got back. I didn't die, but I was so embarrassed because our family was watching us from the shore, because we were that close to the shore, laughing and laughing and laughing and
and what
laughing.
were you doing out there? Were you doing a dance or what?
I was trying to not get eaten by the sharks that I thought were going to come get me.
Ah, Right
Yeah,
now
it's
is when I
totally
want.
embarrassing. It is. It's totally embarrassing. But
Hey, you've lived to tell it.
I blame my mother.
Well, I want to cue up the shark song.
I know. I can hear it. And not baby shark doo 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 doo. I know. I know. It's totally embarrassing. But hey, it is what it is, man. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Okay,
Well,
now you have to tell someone. It doesn't have to be embarrassing. It could just be an adventure. It doesn't have to be a mishap like mine.
so my adventures are, I have a love-hate relationship with water.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, I love to drink water. I love to do baptisms with water. Uh, I enjoy a shower and a bath every once in a while. But a swimming pool, an ocean, a river, a creek. I love the sound of water. I could sit on the edge of the beach and just let the water just continually wave and all that. But my fear of water began when I was in like 5th or 6th grade. And I was at church camp. And it may have been my 1st or 2nd year. I don't know which, whatever. But anyway, we had to do swimming lessons. They were offering us swimming lessons. And well, let's just say the day that we were supposed to, the day that we did jump off of the deep end, which was, I think, 9 feet. I am what, 4 feet something maybe at the time, because I was 10 or 11. And when you get down there, you're supposed to relax, and you're just supposed to just go like this, and you will float to the top. I jumped in and went. They had to throw the rope out to get me. I thought I was drowning.
Oh,
I
no.
thought I was drowning, and I would not go into the pool the rest of the week. And that fear, that, I mean, that happened what? A long time ago.
Right.
That would have been in the 60s for me.
Right.
And I was, I've always just had this fear of water.
Right.
So jump ahead about 35 years.
Yeah.
Which is now just maybe, within the last decade for me. And I took a youth group trip, which included a lot of adults too. It just wasn't youth. So I don't know how many of us was, but we went north. So north from Philadelphia. At the time I was in the Philadelphia area.
Yeah.
To somewhere up toward the Delaware Water Gap. And we were going to whitewater raft down or on a portion of the Lehigh River.
Yeah. Oh, I did that too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Whitewater rafting is awesome.
It's so much fun.
Most times.
We had so much fun. I took my kids. I took my students.
So I was excited to do this because it was a new adventure. It was something I was looking forward to it. And I knew I would have a life vest on. I didn't have to worry about that drowning fear that was in my, just sort of like, went
and there's
away.
Like a guide that goes with you, and like you have to watch a video. Yeah. Yeah, it's fun.
So there was like, I don't know, 12, 15 rafts together.
Yeah.
It was a Saturday, and it was kind of one of those dreary, overcast days.
Yeah. That's how ours was too. Yeah.
So we go through all that training stuff, that you talked about, and we get in our rafts and we head down. And we were told, the Lehigh River has a number of rapids in it, and that water wasn't running overly high, but it was high and normal, so they had rapids. Well, the first set of rapids, which was maybe, I don't know, 100 yards from the starting point.
Yeah.
Guess whose raft tipped in the rapids?
I'm so sorry. Was it scary? I can imagine it would be scary.
Let's just say I was glad we were in water, because I got soaked, and you know how things scary the bejeebers out of you, and bodily
Sometimes you
function.
yeah, you can like, yep.
So there we were, there were 5 or 6 of us in this raft, and we all went under. I was more afraid of losing my glasses. The first thing I did when I went under was just go like this, and it was. Let's just say the next 4 hours were very long, and we were very cautious. And kind of like you, I can laugh about it now,
Right,
but I'll
right.
tell you
That's true.
what,
That's true.
in the moment,
It's not right. It's not fun in the moment. Yeah.
it was like, get me out of here. And the guide says, no, I can't.
Right. You can't, right. And you can't leave in the middle of it. Right, right, right. You can't get off the river right. It's just not how it works. Yeah. Yeah.
And that whole trip, I forget how many miles it was, but I mean, it seemed like it took forever after that. But
Yeah.
at the end, the guide said to all of us, he says, you all have taken our record. You have the record for the most number of flips into the river on this course. I forget what the number was, but I know that was in the double digits.
So of all,
And it just wasn't the raft that I was in. I think every nearly every raft flipped at least once. At least once.
oh,
And the hard one of the hardest parts for me during this trip was, even though I flipped and struggled for all of that, there were, I think, 2 rafts that included Chinese people
yeah.
who spoke no English. So
Oh,
we were
so it made it hard to communicate.
trying to guide them to keep them safe, and
Oh,
I think their raft did flip at one point also, but I mean, fortunately enough, there were enough other people around to kind of help and guide them, but it was like I was more concerned about them than I was about me at that point.
yeah. Well, right.
Because
And if, right, because you're someone who really empathizes with other people. So then you're having a hard time having a good time because you're worried
yeah,
about them. And right.
you know,
Oh, so it
so
wasn't fun.
it wasn't fun, but I might be close to trying it again.
Mm, mm, mm.
I might be close, but
Yeah.
maybe we could do um, maybe a lazy summer day down a creek and call it whitewater rafting, because there's one place where the water goes fast over a rock, and call that the rapids, and
Yeah.
call it done.
Yeah. That's awesome. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. So I my best friend and I went to uh, Idaho and Wyoming um, on a girls' trip, and we stayed in Idaho, and then we like drove over the mountain and over the border over to Jackson Hole, and we did a little hiking and some sightseeing around there, and um, we we wanted to see some stuff and whatever, and um, we like got outfitted and had hiking boots and did all the things and whatever, and one of yeah we
Walking
yeah we
home.
had all the things. We had like bear spray and backpacks, and we did it all. We had it all organized and whatever, and one of the days we were out, we like did some other things in the morning and whatever, and we got lunch and we were, having a snack, and all of a sudden things got really quiet. We were sitting at like picnic tables and things got really quiet, and this park ranger comes running over and he's like, "Be quiet, everybody." And we look over and he's like, he goes, "Pick up your food." And we're like, what's going on? He goes, "There's a bear cub in the area and he just left his pack." And so he's like a preteen age. And so he's like in that unruly age. Yeah,
A
where
rowdy teen.
yeah, he's like a rowdy teenager age. So he doesn't like give a damn about like rules. He does whatever the hell he wants. And so he's like he does like he's like unpredictable. And so the park ranger's like, "Be thoughtful. He's been spotted here." So we're sitting there, we're like, and I already have this nervousness about sharks. And I have thoughtful, okay, I know that there's not sharks there, but like I'm excited about wildlife, but I don't really want, and like everybody wants to experience wildlife, but I don't want to have like, I don't want to be in the news about wildlife.
Right.
Right? So I'm
Or
like,
statistics, yeah.
right. Like I want to be like, "Ooh, that's pretty." Not like, "Rah." I don't need to have that in my life. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then we see it. It's a bear, it's a medium-sized, biggish bear cub who's, doing his own thing and not just running amok. And it's coming close-ish. So we just like pick up our things, and the first thing they tell you is don't run.
Yeah.
So we don't. So we pick up our stuff
And you have food.
and we
And
have
you have food.
yeah, like smelly sandwiches, which is like what bears like. And so we don't run, we gently pick up our stuff, and then, we sort of hang out, and the bear's sort of wandering around and getting close and wandering around and getting close. And we're like, okay, we're not moving and we're not talking. And the bear's close. And he doesn't end up getting much closer than like, I don't know, 10-ish feet, but 10-ish feet feels like is close. It's close.
Yeah.
But then he sort of leaves ish. So it's okay. But then I don't know if I want to hang out. So I said to my friend, was like, okay, well, do you want to like go? Do you want to like continue to do stuff today? Do we want to go out into the wilderness? I'm not sure if I'm feeling so like wildernessy today.
Adventurous.
Yeah, like I sort of feel like maybe we could go and be town people today, because this bear doesn't seem like he's, he's
Friendly.
loose.
He's not Yogi.
Right. So we found some more urban things to do that day, and we didn't hang out. So I know that's not a super dramatic story, but I was,
It's
I was worried.
So
he was cute though. He was a cute bear.
Was he?
But
not one that you wanted to take a selfie with.
No, I didn't want him to come any closer. He was a cute bear.
So back in 2001, my oldest son had graduated from high school, and I'd promised him a trip to Yellowstone National Park.
Oh, Yellowstone.
My partner at the time, his father, actually lived in Cody, Wyoming, which is, the eastern edge of Yellowstone, and
Yeah.
we were able to spend time there and go into the park. Well, so also at the same time, my son, this is my oldest son, at the time just loved to fish. He and his buddy would go fishing all the time, freshwater fishing and all of that. So I said, so we're gonna go to Yellowstone. You know, it was the four of us, both my sons, my partner, and I went. And I said to Bradley, I says, well, what would you like to do in Yellowstone besides just go around and check? He says, I'd like to go fishing in Yellowstone.
Wow.
Okay, I think I can handle this.
Yeah.
Until I saw how much it cost, and then it was like, Bradley, I love you, but we don't have all the right gear and everything that you need to kind of really do
Oh.
the proper kind of fishing in Yellowstone.
Oh, what? Like what?
Well, you
Like
need
a
to have special
license
licenses,
and
and you had to be
oh,
careful what kind of fish you got. It was much more complicated than just going sitting on the bank and throwing in the rod.
oh, okay.
So we agreed that we had found this lake. It's called Pocket Lake. And it had no regulations to it. You know, you could just go and fish whatever you want. What we didn't realize, it was a 5-mile hike to get to it through the woods.
There's always a catch.
There's always a catch, right? So there we are, the four of us hiking through the woods, and it's a path. It's not a blaze your own trail.
Oh, well, that's
It's
good.
a path.
Yeah.
That's, you can follow, fishing gear and whatever else. And we rounded this corner and looked off to the left, and there's a cow moose, a mother moose with her calf.
Moose are amazing, aren't they? They're amazing.
Well, I mean, that was a little too up close and personal. Granted, it was probably about 12, 15 feet away, but it was like, that's close enough, and we just kept going. And then it was only then that we met somebody in the path that says, hey, you guys need to be having something with you to make noise. And we didn't realize that. I mean, yeah, we were sort of talking, but they said, keep making noise along the path just because.
Right.
As it keeps your attention and it keeps animals' attention.
Right.
So then, so we kept on going, but we did not realize until afterwards, when we had gotten to a lake, but it wasn't Pocket Lake.
Yeah.
But it was, it was a bigger lake, and we saw that there was a family down along the bank doing whatever they were doing, but we could see that they were, let's just say they were swimming au natural.
People do it.
People do it. I mean, hey, it was 2 miles in. Who's going to see, right?
Right.
Only the crazy people that want to go fishing at Pocket Lake 3 more miles down the road.
Right.
But anyway, we did not get to Pocket Lake and do that fishing, but we didn't realize till we got off that trail and started to head back home that, oh my gosh, we didn't realize how much in danger we had put ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Moose. Well, I had a moose experience. I used to live in New Hampshire, and I was coming home from prom. I used to do prom when I was there. I did prom when I was here in Pennsylvania as well. And I was coming home from prom my first year in New Hampshire, and there was a moose and moose cub. I don't.
Calf.
Oh, calf. They all have different names. I don't remember. A moose calf, a moose baby, a moose baby standing in the middle of the road, and I was that's so cute. I was driving a Toyota Tercel at the time, and I could drive. I almost could drive my Toyota Tercel underneath the moose adult,
Wow.
which is
Wow.
scary. I stopped in the middle of the road. So it's like midnight. And I stopped in the middle of the road and I'm like, this is a moment. This is a moment right now. And I just stopped and said, this is how I will, this could be my death right now. Because you see, every time you see a moose like on TV, it's from afar. You're not almost under it. And I just sat there and waited very patiently. I did not honk or yell or do any such thing. And then the moose was like,
Get out of the way.
right. I was like, I just hung out. I let the moose do its thing. And then I may have rolled down the window and I was like, hello, it is so good to see you. I tend to do that.
I can see you doing that.
Yeah,
I can honestly see you doing that.
Yeah, I tend to talk to the cows when I see them, or the deer. I very much always talk to the deer when I see them. I'm like, it's you. It's so good to see you. I say that all the time when I see the deer. So I could have easily said that to the moose. So yeah, and then that's it. But yeah, it was amazing. They're significantly taller than you expect, because I think you expect them to be the same size as a cow or a horse. They're a lot more like an elephant.
And you see pictures and of all these animals like moose and elk, and
Yeah.
there's another one there too, but it's just like, you don't realize bears, you don't realize their true size
Yeah.
by looking at them in pictures, because you don't necessarily see them with a human alongside of them.
Yeah. 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 Like when bears stand up, you're like, you're definitely a lot bigger than me. Yeah. Like, yeah. So I just thought it would be a fun thing for us to talk about. Like, we've all had outdoor adventures and mishaps. I mean, we could talk for days about others. We've all had hilarious, embarrassing stories that we could just share for hours. So feel free to put your funny little stories in the comments as well. It like humanizes all of us. It puts us all in the same playing field to show.
Same boat.
Yeah, in the same boat. And that we all have irrational fears, whether it's sharks or ants or whatever it is.
And so I just want to wrap up the fishing story with my son.
Yeah.
He actually did get to go fishing.
Oh,
and actually
good.
did fish, because there was a stream at the place where we were staying at, and he asked if he could fish there, and pulled 5 out at one time. So it's like, didn't have to walk 5 miles either. Could just walk out of the cabin and there. But I think nature has a whole lot to offer to us. And yes, nature can be scary sometimes. We don't even realize it, just because of some of those things that happened to us in earlier lives. But here we are now.
But it's worth it. It's worth it.
Absolutely worth it.
It's worth it.
So in addition to sharing your stories, I'm going to also encourage you all to get out.
Yeah.
Get out. Come on, you've been cooped up for a year. Get out.
It's so much fun out there. Yeah. Yeah. See you, everybody. Bye.
See ya. Bye.